Hey guys, RC here. I don't usually do these, preview, review type things. I usually leave that to those that are better suited and more informed than I am. However, if you've watched my channel before, you know that one of the primary things that I am efforting with FM is trying to understand how to form a realistic tactic that will perform in the game. Not necessarily winning every game, but to at least make you competitive. Because honestly, when it comes to do I run a 4-4-2? Do I run a 4-5-1? Do I run a 3-5-2? And then once you do that, okay, do I make my midfielder a box to box? Do I make him a central mid? And then once I've decided that, do I make him support? Do I make him attack? Do I make him automatic? I don't know any of the nuances of the game to determine which the right path is to do that. There was something that came up in episode 3 of FM18 from Football Manager about the tactical revamp that got my attention, and so I wanted to make sure I shared especially that part with other people that might be like me, struggling with this game. So let's go ahead and we will take a look at the video. We'll watch through it, and then I will pause during the video and we'll talk about it. So here we go.
Welcome to FMTV. My name is Joe Tomlinson, and today we're talking about tactics. Tactics are one of the most important elements of Football Manager, and Football Manager 2018 offers plenty of ways to help you better understand tactics to get the best out of your squad on match days, alongside some new options.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and stop there. So, some new things to help you better understand tactics. Well, in a nutshell, that's what I'm looking for. There's really no tutorial system. There's really no guidance in the game currently to help people like me that are inexperienced understand what you need to do to be successful in the game. And when you pose the question to experienced FM players, inevitably and I know they're trying to help. I really do, because I think it's a great community. But inevitably the answer that comes back is, well, you have to understand what your shape is trying to do. Well, man, if I knew the answer to that question, I probably wouldn't be here asking the question in the first place. I'm here because I don't understand jack shit. That's why I'm here. So you telling me that I need to understand something, that's why I'm here, because I don't understand it. And I think what we're running into with FM in the community is a disconnect between the haves and the have-nots. I'm a have-not, and the people that are legitimately trying to answer the question are the haves. They have the answers, they have the knowledge, but I think because they have that knowledge and experience and it's second nature to them, they expect everybody else to have a semblance of the same knowledge base that they have, and that's not always true. Think about your job. You may have been there for 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, and somebody comes in the first day on the job. They may be intelligent, they may be a hard worker, they may have a college or university degree, but they're not going to know anything about how your job does things specifically. So, you have to kind of dial it down and give it to them in small bits and pieces to help them understand, and eventually they catch on. But when you just say, here, jump into the deep end of the pool and you should know this, that doesn't help. So, that's where the disconnect comes, I think. So I'm excited. They've said that there's stuff that will help people like me understand. So let's check it out.
When you click on the Tactics tab in Football Manager 2018, you'll immediately notice a radical departure from the Tactics screen of old. You'll see that there are now two distinct panels, Tactics and Players. The tactics section is where you select your formation, mentality and team shape and deliver team and player instructions. The players section allows you to handle team selection and change player roles, as well as specifying if you want each member of the team to use the default or personalized player instructions. You can expand, reduce and pin the tactics section depending on which part of the screen you want to focus on. When the tactics section is reduced, you can still move players around the mini tactics pitch. And by pinning the tactics panel, you can work with both panels at the same time.
Okay, I think that's a good change, because what I have found in FM17 currently is I go to the tactics screen and I can do a little bit there, but then I have to go to the squad screen to kind of look at other things, and then I've got to go back to the tactics screen. And, you know, it gets a little confusing. So if you could actually start doing all that stuff from one screen instead of having to bounce back and forth, I think that's a good thing. Streamline the process. All right, let's keep going.
The new tactics screen is less cluttered and easier to get to grips with without losing any functionality.
Okay, well, again, that's assuming you know what it is that you're looking at. So I'll reserve judgment on that.
Nowadays, most real-life clubs conduct a pre-match briefing ahead of their matches, so this has been incorporated into Football Manager 2018. These briefings usually occur on the eve of a match and give you the opportunity to explain to the squad what it is you want them to focus on in the upcoming fixture.
Okay, I know that player talks and team talks are important. We've always had to try to get team morale up. This appears to just be an extra way to do that. To me, it seems like this is just kind of expanding the pre-match talk from in the game when you go to the match screen, and you can, you know, give personalized instructions to close down more, make an opponent play to his opposite foot, things of that nature. So not sure exactly how this is going to affect, but, you know, by the fact that they're breaking it out into its own section, you know, we'll see. I know, again, I'm not a diehard FM guy. I'm still trying to get to know the game, but I do know that a lot of people have said over the years, sometimes things get put into the game and they really don't do anything. So, again, I'll reserve judgment on this, and other people will probably know more about this and how this will actually work. Just as a tease, this is the part that I'm very excited about, and that'll be coming up shortly.
You can run them through your tactics, player, team and opposition instructions and any changes you've made to the squad. Your tactics analysis and scouts reports on the opposition are viewable on the right-hand side of the screen, so you can incorporate elements of these into the meeting. You're able to clearly gauge the reactions of the squad to everything you say on the main meeting screen as well. If you're more of a hands-off manager, then you do have the option to let your assistant do the talking for you. Analysis has also been incorporated into tactics in a more intuitive way.
Oh, thank God.
Firstly, you'll notice on the tactics panel that there is a dedicated analysis section that shows trends from your recent matches. These are clearly split out into positives and negatives.
So this is actually good. So, you know, they always tell you that you have to watch the game, you have to kind of watch your shape, your tactic, see what the players are doing. So if they're actually giving you some analysis, that is giving some feedback on what it is you should hopefully be seeing in the game. And if you're not going through the game and getting to this point and seeing these things, then it gives you something that you can try to focus on watching for when you are watching the match play out. And that may, being the key word, help somebody like me start to better grasp what it is my players should be doing and are not. Now, I don't know if that will help me figure out how to tweak the players to get them to do what I want, but at least it might be a start.
There's also now tactical analysis on your tactics pitch. The grid overlay shows areas of potential exposure.
Oh my God, that is astounding. When I first saw this in the initial release trailer, I thought that might be what this was. So basically it's a heat grid. So Red is a danger zone. Green is a well-covered zone, and then you have the intermediate layers in between. So when somebody new like me goes in and creates a 3-5-1-1, we can see where our danger spots are. Okay, so I'm guessing, and I don't want to get too far off topic, but if I'm looking at this, so the corners in our attacking end are weak, but I don't have fullbacks making runs. I've got these wingbacks. Once they get up there, that probably changes, but if I'm doing crosses from here, early crosses from here, that probably means that's not a huge deal. And if they take over possession in that area, it's on the completely opposite end of the field, so I shouldn't worry about that. Now, this may be something that, I do want to look at in here, but, you've got, see, this is where I don't understand. See, if I'm looking at this, I've got this wing back on support, which means he should be covering this grid here. He's on defend, which means he should be covering here. He's on support, which means he should be covering here. Well, actually, probably the 6 middle ones. He's on support, covering here, and he's on attack, which of course leaves this. That's why this is rough. So you'll want your best defender here, but he's coming back to support as well. So, it's trying to figure out how to block off those red zones, but at least it gives you something visual to understand, and then use the analysis down here to maybe tweak that. And if you can actually, like when I change that from support to defend, if the colorations change on the fly like that, that should be nothing but helpful. Now again, it's still not going to answer all of my questions on it, knowing exactly how to make these changes, but at least it gives you a visual representation with that overlay. So
taking
I am
into
loving
account
that.
the formation and role set for each player. Areas that are red or orange show where you're particularly vulnerable. The analysis also highlights partnerships between your players. This takes into account factors such as the role selected as well as recent performances. So, for example, players who have been successfully stringing passes together or creating opportunities for each other will be highlighted with a green connecting line indicating a strong partnership, made possible by the new dynamics features in FM18.
That's
Some
cool.
new player roles also make their debut in this year's edition. The Segundo Volante looks to support in both defence and attack from the defensive midfield position, whilst the Mezzala and the Carrilero roles are new additions in the central midfield position. The Mezzala operates centrally but strives to get into positions that an inside forward would usually occupy.
All right, I'll admit that's completely Greek to me. I have no idea what that means. That may be important, but to me it's just another role that I've got to deal with when trying to figure out what to do.
The Carrilero, on the other hand, shuttles between midfield lines. The final new role is the inverted winger, which can be applied to either the left or the right midfielders. Some of the existing roles have been tweaked a bit too. Trequartista can now be assigned to players in the AMR or AML positions, and inverted wingbacks now have a duty to attack as well as defend. There are a host of new player and team instructions. You can ask your team to look for the underlap in the final third, while in the player instructions menu, you can instruct players to mark a specific position and our central players to run wide with the ball.
Okay, I'm not sure I like that because I haven't figured out the initial ones yet. It's just adding more for me to figure out. But on the flip side, maybe by adding in new stuff, that will have some of the FM gods out there being more inclined to maybe do an instructional video that will explain exactly how that fits in, and in doing that, it may cause them to inadvertently or purposely, hopefully, go through some of the other positions or roles as well, and that would further the information base to help people in my position.
There's a new player preferred move this year too, as you can ask defenders to bring the ball out of defence, and more choices with free kicks in the set piece creator, with the ability to set different free kicks based on where the free kick is being taken from. The tactical innovations in Football Manager 2018 make it easier to implement your tactical philosophy whilst giving you more control. With the addition of tactical analysis at the heart of the tactics screen, it's easier to judge in what areas of the pitch your tactic leaves you vulnerable, and the pre-match briefing allows you to find out what the players are thinking too. To sum it up, tactics in FM18 offers more possibilities, is easier to use, and gives better feedback. Keep an eye out for more episodes of FMTV, and for more information on Football Manager 2018, visit footballmanager.com.
All right, so just in closing, I really like the heat grid or the analysis grid on the tactics screen. But I have a feeling, even with that, I'm still going to be struggling trying to figure out the intermeshing of the roles, duties, and still figuring out what is the right actual tactic formation to put on the pitch. So not sure that helps me a whole lot there, but there are some things that give me some hope that maybe I'll have some lifelines that I can grasp to. Those should cater hopefully to newer or more inexperienced players. And anyway, looking very forward to that and seeing how it works for me and people in my position, trying to figure out the game moving forward. So thank you for checking the video out. Looking forward to FM18 when it does come out. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye now.